Hey everybody, welcome to Monday Night Live. We are really excited to kick off our very own Monday Night Live calls. We have decided that this is going to be a really good move for our team. We're very excited about it because it's going to give a platform to bring new faces to the front, create more leaders, get specific training that is especially what we need, and we're just really excited about all of it. So look for more and more leaders leading you from the front, and we're going to go ahead and get started with tonight's call, which is about handling objections about the business. So last week we talked about this as well, and I'm going to share my screen here. Start here. Can you guys see my screen? Amy, Catherine, I see y'all's face. Okay. So last week was part 1 of handling objections about the biz. And so if you haven't seen that one, you're going to want to go back and check that one out first. And not first, I mean, you totally can watch this call, but you're going to want to check that one out too, because I handled the first, I think I went through 11 or 12 objections, just common ones that we hear when it comes to the business opportunity. And so tonight I want to address a few other ones, and I'm just going to breeze through the beginning of this slideshow here because I know there are some new faces on here. And so basically how this works is you're going to hear a few objections about the opportunity over and over. There's only a handful of them, and the more you learn about these objections and the more you practice talking to people about it, the better you're going to get at handling them, and it just becomes a simple process. Same thing with the products. There's a handful of objections you'll hear about the products. You just learn how to handle those few, and then you just do it over and over. So when it comes to the opportunity, a lot of people think, you know, with the products, I'm going to follow up at least 8 to 12 times is average for someone to make a buying decision and decide that they're going to finally try the products with you. And the business opportunity is no different. You follow up about the opportunity just in the same way you do about the products. You definitely need to share the opportunity with every single person, even if you think there's no way they would be interested, but that because they've already thought about it. Oh, my computer's dying. They have already thought about it. They know that Plexus comes with an opportunity. They don't live under a rock. And so if they haven't brought it up to you first, there's some kind of limiting belief that might be holding them back from running in this business with you. And so you share with them always. They've already thought about it, and then you handle their objections. So kind of ask some questions to figure out what might be holding them back from creating financial freedom for their family, or time freedom for their family, or accomplishing something huge for themselves, right? So you're going to share the opportunity, handle their objections, follow up, and repeat. You're going to talk to a lot of people about the opportunity. So you don't just talk to somebody about the business and they're not interested, so next move on to the next person, and then never talk to that other person again about it, never bring it up again. That's not how it works. You're not going to find workers. All of my workers they told me no at first. And some of them for a very, very long time, and I followed up with them a very long time before they actually joined me in this business opportunity. So no is normal. It does not mean no forever. It just means no, not right now. No, I don't have enough information yet. No, the timing is not right, but it does not mean no forever. So you definitely need to follow up. All right, so do have strong posture. Your confidence and your tone matter. Just know where you're headed. Know where you're headed in this company. You don't have to have a huge success story with this opportunity to share with people where you're going. You can share other people's success stories, and you can be confident that you know where you are headed because you're going all in with this opportunity, and you're going to be successful because anybody can be successful at this. The only people who are not are the ones who give up. The only ones who don't create huge success are the ones who quit. So if you're not planning to quit, guess what? You're going to be hugely successful. So carry yourself that way, and that confidence draws people to you. Anybody who's coachable and has a work ethic can definitely do this. And also do believe that this is a better way. It's not the only way to create wealth or financial stability or time freedom, but it is a better way. Just know that what you are doing is probably a better opportunity for them and has way more perks and potential for residual income and way more income potential. There's literally no cap on the amount of earnings that you can make in this company, in this business model. And so what you're doing is better than what they're doing most of the time. And so you don't come across as cocky, obviously, but just know that when you're looking at someone, you're talking to them about the opportunity, they're probably overworked and underpaid. They probably want to be at home with their kids, or they probably want to travel and can't, or they're probably worried about how they're going to fund, college for all their children. They have something, they have a need that is unmet, and Plexus can help. And so if you talk to someone long enough, you can figure out what their need is that you can help them with, whether it's with the products or the opportunity. All right, do you use feel, felt, found? So I understand how you feel. I felt the same way. But what I found was ... And you can put that in front of almost any objection that you encounter. So, and I'll give you some examples of that as we go. Do ask more questions. Sometimes it's just a matter of asking a clarifying question. Like if somebody says, well, I don't really have time to grow a business, then you could ask a question like, well, how much time do you think you need? Just to kind of clarify, like, what are they thinking? Are they thinking they're going to have to work full time to make a lot of money? Or like, what are they thinking? Do not go into convincing mode. You should never feel like you're being pushy. You should never feel like that. If you find yourself in convincing mode, then you've gone a little too far. And you should not get into that. If you're using feel, felt, found, you shouldn't be in convincing mode, because you are validating what they are feeling. Like you're saying, I understand how you feel. That is a valid concern, because I felt like that too. But then you're educating them. Okay, so you're not saying, well, you're wrong, or like trying to convince them that their thinking is wrong. You're really just simply offering them another perspective, but you're not going to push. Okay, just know when to back off, but do handle the objection in a sensitive way. And then don't give up on people, because like I said, most of my biggest runners I followed up with for a very long time. And they told me no or ignored me for a very long time. But they all come around at some point, right? And if you just know that you have something very, very valuable to offer them, and that if they ever do decide to do this, it could change their life. And if you truly believe that it could change their life, then you're not going to give up on them just because they tell you no, or they're not interested, or the timing is off for them, or whatever, or they give you some kind of objection why they can't or don't want to do it. All right, so these are some that I went through last week. You'll find these on the first video. I'm not a salesperson. I don't have time. I don't know enough people. I don't like people. I don't want to bug my friends. I've done another MLM before and I wasn't good at it. I don't like MLMs because only a few people make real money. I'll share after I see my own results, and that's where we left off. All right, so here's another good one. I'm an introvert. Well, I am an introvert too. So if this was me, I would say I totally get you. I'm the same exact way. I was super shy. And I find, though, that I love people. I mean, I do care about them. Like, I don't care to be in a huge crowd of people. But when I'm talking to people one-on-one, I can carry on a conversation, and I actually enjoy helping them. I do enjoy helping people, and this is a helping people business. Also, it helps that most of my business is run from my phone or behind my computer screen, and so I can actually think about what I want to say before I actually say it, and so that gives me confidence because I can think it through, and I don't feel as nervous or like put on the spot if I was doing, as I would if I was doing network marketing, say, 20 years ago, when they had to like cold call people on the phone, or they would go door to door even. There's no way I could do that. But we live in a very different age now. We live in the information age, and we have a very social economy, And people who realize that now are reaping huge benefits. People that realize it 10 years from now are going to wish they realized it now. So you are realizing it now. We live in a social economy. This is the way we are headed, and you can totally do this, and I can show you how. And so those are things that I would say as an introvert. If you're not an introvert, then you're not going to use feel, felt, found here. You're just going to share a story of somebody that you know that has been super successful and wasn't super outgoing, okay? And also, just as a side note, I have found that this business has really brought me out of my shell, because I used to think that I was very shy, and I'm no longer, I wouldn't say I'm shy now. I wouldn't even say I'm quiet now, because I really am not. I've learned a ton, and so I love talking to people, but it wasn't like that before. I just felt like real insecure and just trepidatious about all the people. But now I find that I love people, and this business really forces you to do something you're supposed to be doing anyway, and that's loving on people, right? We all know God's called us to love on people, and you can't do that if you're just sitting there in your little shell too meek and mild to talk to anybody, right? So I also tell people that when they say, well, I'm an introvert, I don't know how to talk to people. And I'm just like, well, this is good. It's going to help you grow. It's going to help you grow into that person that God has called you to be. All right. But I don't say all that. I mean, it really just depends on the person I'm talking to. But do use feel, felt, found, or share a story. All right. I don't have the money to start. So I can tell you lots of success stories of people who didn't have the money to start. I would say I understand how you feel. I felt the same way. I definitely had to figure out a way to work this into my budget, because, I mean, we were not flat broke, but we didn't have a lot of money for extras either. And I finally just got to a point where I was, tired of living that way. Like I made a decision. Do I want to continue not having the money to do extras? Or do I want to make a little sacrifice now and figure out a way to make this happen so that in the future I don't have to continue not having the money to do things that I want to do, So that is one way you could handle it. Also, you could share a story. Fallon Black is a really good one. She actually didn't have the money to start either. Her husband was an E3 in the Army. They have 5 kids. And she took her electric money bill to buy her welcome pack. And then she called her mom and her sister, and she was like, I need you guys to help me. I'm starting a new business. If you guys don't help me, I will be calling you to borrow money to pay my electric bill. So either you can buy some product and get something out of it, or loan me the money to pay my electric bill. But we really need this business endeavor. And so that is kind of what she did. And she earned a return on her investment very quickly. And anybody can. I mean, you can start making money in this business as little as 1 week later. And I have plenty of people on my team that have done that. It's not a huge investment to start. I know with some companies, they charge thousands of dollars, or most companies at least charge hundreds of dollars. There's like a big buy-in cost to get started with your business. With Plexus, it's $34.95, which it costs me more than that to take my family to Chipotle for supper. And then $99 for your welcome pack. So that is really, I mean, most people can come up with $150 if they really want to. So if they're telling you they don't have the money to start, what they're really saying and what you should perceive coming from them is, you have not made this valuable enough to me yet, or I don't really think I can do it. I don't really think I can become profitable. And if that's the case, then you need to ask some more questions and figure out why. Why would they think they couldn't earn a return on their investment very quickly? They're probably going to say something like one of these objections, like, I just don't know enough people that would buy it from me, stuff like that, okay? And I've already handled that one in the other video. So I don't have the money to start. It's usually not true. And you can show people how to earn their money back very, very quickly. I'm not a big social media person. So I would say keep the main things as the main things, okay? So I love social media. I've used social media to build my business, and it is a great tool that you can use to grow a solid business very quickly. You say something one time and hundreds, maybe even thousands of people see it versus calling one person at a time, you know, that kind of thing. So, but if somebody, they never post on Facebook or Instagram, and then you all of a sudden start telling them, oh, all you have to do is post on Facebook 3 times a day, 2 personal, 1 plexus. They're probably going to run for the hills, okay? You don't want to overwhelm people because social media, when you get right down to it, it's not IPA. It's a good tool. It's a good primer for people, and you might even get a few people that come to you from seeing your post. However, what really makes people money in this business is having conversations with people about plexus. So yes, I do encourage people to post on Facebook, but if they're not a heavy poster, like if they're not on Facebook every day, I'm not going to start telling them you need to post on Facebook every single day. I would tell them be consistent. The key is consistency. So can you post once a week? Can you post 3 times a week? Can you just post like every 3 days? Like keep the ratio the same, 2 personal versus 1 plexus. But if you're doing that every week, you know, out of a period of 7 days, if you're doing 2 personal and 1 plexus, but you do that consistently every single week, I mean, that's a really good starting point, and people can work they can learn over time how to create a habit of posting every day, how to brand themselves and create content on social media and stuff like that. But really to start somebody off, you just let them know that's okay. I wasn't a huge social media person at first either. I mean, I was on there every day because I liked seeing my friends, you know, what's going on in their lives and stuff, but I wasn't a huge poster or whatever. So again, feel felt bound. Here's what I found. Just posting that first post was a huge first step. And it helped me, you know, get out of my comfort zone. It helped me get my name out there and let people know what I was doing. But really what makes me money in this business is having conversations with people and being consistent. So try to get people to be, definitely a first post is a good thing. But I'm just saying don't overwhelm people by telling them they have to post 3 times a day right when they're first starting, okay? But it is something to work toward. I'm not saying like they don't need to do that ever. I'm saying they do need to do that, but not immediately. And if they're not a big social media person, that's okay. I mean, look at Michelle Stuchel. She never posted on Facebook, like once a year. And I mean, I wanted her on my team. So I was always looking to see if she posted something because I wanted to go engage, right? But she wasn't on social media. But look at her now. She's got more followers on Instagram than I do. So people can get there, but they don't always necessarily start there. And that's totally okay. Really, they just need to be willing to share about some products or an opportunity that could change someone's life. So just start there, okay? Baby steps. Here's a good one. I don't want to be on my phone all the time. So I think people need some perspective, because would you say that if you were reading a book all the time? Like, what if would you say, I don't want my kids seeing me reading all the time? I mean, if you were like reading nothing but Twilight books or comic books or something, you might have a guilt complex about reading all the time. But more than likely, you're probably not sitting around reading books like that, okay? What if you were reading a cookbook that's going to help you prepare better meals for your family? Would you feel guilty about reading a book all the time then? Probably not, because you know that what you're doing is for your family, right? It's for their benefit that you're reading that book. Even if it means that your eyes are not directly on them 24/7, you are benefiting them because you're learning something that's going to in return be a blessing to your family, okay? Or if you're reading books about how to homeschool your kids, how to give them a better education, whatever, personality, but like parenting, marriage, whatever. If you're reading a book all the time and you have your nose in a book a lot, I'm not saying all the time, but you know, I mean, that is a good analogy because it's something where you're looking at something, but it's not necessarily your kids. And that's okay because it's going to benefit your family, okay? So you need to offer your kids some perspective. I mean, if you're on, I mean, we've all seen those videos that make you feel super guilty for being on your phone all the time, right? And I agree, we don't need to be on our phone all the time. We don't want our kids growing up and their only memories of us is with a light glow on our face from our iPhone reflection, okay? So within reason here, okay? We got to have some balance, and also offer your kids some perspective, because you could be wasting time on your phone if all you're doing is scrolling Facebook all the time, and you'd rather be on social media all day than play with your kids or educate your kids or spend time with your family or whatever. But for most of us, that's not the case. We're not on there. And if you are wasting time all the time, then yeah, feel guilty, because shame on you. You should be spending some time with your family or being productive. But for most of us, that's really not what's happening. Our phone is something that is going to change our family's financial future. It's a tool. It is a tool, and it is a tool that can really, really have a huge impact on their futures. And so you just paint that perspective for them. I don't feel guilty about being on my phone working my business, unless I'm getting a little out of balance and I'm putting in too many hours, and my daughter's come to me one too many times and said, can we play? And I'm just like, can't right now, but that's a me problem. That's not a business problem. That is a Brittany getting out of balance and lacking self-discipline problem, okay? But I don't feel guilty about my business or being on my phone, because I know it's something that's benefiting them, right? Because I'm on my phone sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes they get to see their dad more because he doesn't have to work as many hours. Because I am willing to put in some work on my phone every day, my kids get to go to classical conversations and, see their friends every week. And I mean, there's lots of things that we get to do because mama is on her phone. And if my kids know that, then they're very grateful for that. They're not sitting there thinking, I wish mom would get off her phone, So just kind of paint that perspective for people and let them know, it's up to you what picture you paint for your kids about the tool that your phone can, you can use your phone as. All right. My husband doesn't support me. So that's very common. I mean, there's lots of husbands out there that do not at first support their spouse's endeavor, and that's okay. I truly believe that they all do at some point if you don't quit, right? But if you start making money, I mean, that money talks to a husband, right? That talks to his heart when he has the weight of the world on his shoulders, because he has the responsibility of providing for his family. And then he sees his wife as earning, or supplementing the income. And it really does relieve some of the burden and some of the stress off of a husband. And he will at some point appreciate that. It's okay if he mocks you at first or is skeptical at first or whatever. I mean, that's very common. It does not have to make or break you. Sometimes, even if he says, like, if he doesn't want you to join at all, if he sees your journey, if he sees your success over time, what often happens is, the wife that you're talking to, let's just call her Susie. Susie keeps seeing your posts. You're ranking up. Not only that, you keep posting about people on your team who are ranking up. They're making money. They're being able to stay home with their kids. They're being able to take their family to Disney World. And, they're all traveling to Orlando together. As Susie watches those things, what's going to happen is there'll be a shift in Susie. I find a lot of times that Susie is the one who's really skeptical, and her husband is an easy person to blame. And so if Susie's belief is being built, then oftentimes Susie is that neck that turns that husband's head a little bit. And so over time, as Susie and her husband watch that journey, they come around. So the best way to inspire somebody like that who's skeptical is just be successful, right? Your business doesn't depend on any one person for you to be successful. So go be successful and make some believers out of people. Okay, I don't want to be distracted from my kids. This kind of goes along with what I was talking about earlier about the phone, but consider the Proverbs 31 woman. Okay, we all love our kids, right? But the Proverbs 31 woman was not, I mean, she had her kids involved with like whatever she was doing, you know. They had to grow their own food. I mean, she was, you know, making stuff and selling it. She was a real estate investor. I mean, she was doing all kind of things to make money to supplement her family's bottom line and bless her family financially. And she wasn't just constantly staring at her kids all the time. It's totally not just acceptable, but it's a good thing for your children to see you endeavoring in something that doesn't necessarily revolve around them, right? Because I just find that we live in a very kid-centric culture. You guys ever find that? I don't know that's the best thing for children, to grow up thinking the world revolves around them. But, I mean, we all love our kids, but what really is best for our kids? Is it for us to completely focus all of our efforts on them all of the time so that they think that mom, you know, she doesn't have any interest outside of her kids? Or is it best for them to see mom being really successful at something so that she can in turn teach them how to be successful when they get older too, right? And bless their family financially with her special gifts and talents and abilities that God has endowed her with. If you read the Proverbs 31 woman, which is what I like to aspire to be, you will find that she was very industrious, and she didn't neglect her family in order to do things like that, but she also, you know, had things going on that didn't necessarily involve, you know, the kids all the time. So that's just a little perspective there that you can offer people. Okay, I just want to help and serve people, not sell to them. So if somebody says this, I can almost guarantee you're talking to a yellow. And if you don't know what a yellow is, you can read about it in the Color Personality book. It's really good. It's one of the first books that I recommend everybody read when they start this business. But this goes back to offering value to people. So if somebody doesn't have some skin in the game, usually they don't value it as much. You ever find that with your kids? Like if they want a toy so bad and they get the toy finally, you give it to them, you just gift it to them, go buy it and spend your hard-earned money on it, and they don't value it as much. But what if your child actually earned that money to go buy that toy they want so bad themselves? They value it a lot more. I find that to be so true with my own kids. If I just give them something, they might like it for a day, but then it's just like, I mean, it's just not that meaningful to them. But if they put their hard work and their own personal elbow grease in that dollar to earn that toy, then it means so much more, and they take better care of it. It lasts a lot longer. They stick with it longer. Noah's a great example of that. I don't know if you guys know my oldest son, Noah. He's a musician. His very first guitar, he bought it himself. He was probably 9 or 10 years old or something like that. And I didn't buy it for him. He wanted it, but I didn't buy it for him because I just thought he's not going to value it. If he really wants to play guitar, he'll figure out a way how to make it happen. And so he did. He cut grass. He did everything he could to earn the money to buy that guitar. And now, fast forward 5 years or so, and he is a very good guitarist. He values it, and now he wants to be a country music artist. And I think if I had just given it to him, you know, without making him actually earn it, he wouldn't have valued it as much. I really think he probably would not have stuck with it. All right, so back to the objection. I just want to help and serve people, not sell to them. Well, if you are helping them and serving them by, first of all, sharing with them about some products that could change their health. You're helping them and serving them by showing them that there's a better way with this opportunity. This is a helping people business. You don't have to give everybody something in order to help them. What's really helping them is making them value it, right? So, and that means making sure they have a little bit of skin in the game so that they do value it, so that they are consistent with their products. I can tell you stories of, you know, team members who have given away free product because they have the bleeding hearts, right? They want to help people so bad, and then the people don't take it, like they're not consistent or whatever because they don't value it. So this is a helping people business, and I always focus on that. If I'm talking to a yellow who loves to help people, I just start telling them all the ways I get to help people. I get to help them come off prescription medications. I get to help them go to the bathroom and liberate their intestines after decades of not being able to go. I get to help people play with their kids when previously they could not get off the couch. I get to help people stay at home with their babies and quit their jobs, right? Those are all things I get to help people do. And so when you're talking to somebody who loves to help people, just describe all those ways to them. All right. So that is all I have for tonight. And we are right on time. I'm so excited. All right, so I will post this recording in the team page. Hopefully this helped. And I will see you guys next week. Good night. Bye.